They deserve to know the truth. Jessica's voice came from the half-open door of my kids' playroom. Your mom isn't really your mom. She's been lying to you. I froze in the hallway, gripping the laundry basket so hard my knuckles turned white. Through the crack in the door, I saw my sister-in-law sitting with my 2 kids, pretending to care while she tried to turn them against me. My name is Olivia Parker, and I'm 35 years old. I never thought I'd have to defend my relationship with my own children, especially from Jessica. She's been spreading rumors about me ever since I married her brother James 8 years ago. But Mommy takes care of us, my 7-year-old daughter, Emma, said in a small voice. She makes my lunch and reads me stories. Jessica smiled sweetly. Nannies do that too, honey. It doesn't mean she's your real mom. I took a deep breath to steady myself. My 5-year-old son, Lucas, sat quietly, his big blue eyes filled with confusion. The same blue eyes that looked just like mine. Interesting take, Jessica, I said, pushing the door open. My voice was calm, even though I was furious inside. Jessica jumped and turned to face me, clearly surprised. Olivia, I didn't hear you come in. Obviously, I replied, setting down the laundry basket. Kids, why don't you go help Daddy set up for dinner? He needs help with those new placemats you picked out. Emma and Lucas hesitated, then ran off, giving me worried glances as they went downstairs. I waited until they were out of earshot before turning back to Jessica. How dare you, I said quietly. How dare you try to turn my children against me? Jessica stood up and smoothed her jeans. I'm just telling them the truth. Everyone knows James married you when Emma was just a baby, and then suddenly you had Lucas. It looks suspicious. I almost laughed at how ridiculous she sounded. Suspicious? I have hospital records and plenty of witnesses who would disagree. Jessica crossed her arms. DNA doesn't lie. And your blue eyes don't match anyone in our family. Get out of my house, I said, my voice cold and steady. And don't come back until you're ready to apologize for your lies. You can't keep me from seeing my niece and nephew, Jessica argued. James won't let you. We'll see about that. After she left, I sat in a playroom surrounded by my kids' toys and drawings. Every one of them was signed from Mommy in their wobbly handwriting. 8 years of bedtime stories, scraped knees, and hugs. Jessica thought she could erase all of that with her lies. I picked up my phone and called a number I had saved months ago, back when Jessica first started gossiping about my children's parentage. Dr. Morrison's office, a friendly voice answered. Hi, this is Olivia Parker. I'd like to schedule that DNA test we talked about. Of course, Mrs. Parker. We can see you tomorrow morning. Perfect, I said, looking at a family photo on the wall. And could you rush the results? I don't care about the cost. That night, after giving my kids extra hugs and stories, I found James in his study. He looked up from his laptop, concerned. The kids were quiet at dinner. Is something wrong? I closed the door behind me. Your sister stopped by today. James sighed, rubbing his forehead. What did she do this time? She told our children that I'm not their real mother. His face darkened. She did what? I explained what I heard, watching his jaw tighten. James and I met when Emma was 6 months old, after her biological mother abandoned her. We fell in love, got married, and I adopted Emma before giving birth to Lucas 2 years later. I'll talk to her, James said, reaching for his phone. This needs to stop. Wait, I said, putting my hand on his. I have a better plan. But I need you to trust me. He looked at me for a moment, then nodded. Always. The next morning, I went to Dr. Morrison's office for the DNA test. It was quick, just a cheek swab. As I left, I made one more call. Hi, Jessica. I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, I said, keeping my voice light. You're right, DNA doesn't lie. Why don't you come over next Friday? We can look at the results together. She paused. Fine, but don't expect me to apologize when I'm proven right. I smiled. Oh, I'm not expecting that. Not yet. As I drove home, I thought about the other set of results that would be arriving with mine. Jessica had recently taken a DNA test too, and working as a nurse at the hospital had its perks, like knowing which tests were being done and on whom. Jessica had her own secrets, ones she was trying to hide by spreading lies about me. But in 1 week, the truth would come out. Some lies come back to haunt the ones who tell them. I pulled into the driveway, watching Emma and Lucas play outside with James. My children in every way that mattered. And soon, Everyone would know that too. The week felt like it would never end. Every night, I hugged my kids a little tighter during bedtime stories, trying to see if Jessica's words had affected them. Emma was more clingy than usual, and Lucas watched me with curious eyes when he thought I wasn't looking. "Mommy," Emma asked one night as I tucked her in, "why did Aunt Jessica say those mean things?" I sat on the edge of her bed, smoothing her dark hair that looked just like her father's. Sometimes people say hurtful things because they're unhappy inside, but that doesn't mean those things are true. "Daddy said you picked me," she whispered, hugging her stuffed rabbit close. I smiled and kissed her forehead. "I did. I chose you when I adopted you, and then we were blessed with Lucas. Being a mom isn't just about DNA, it's about love." On Thursday afternoon, 2 envelopes arrived. My hands trembled as I held them. One was my DNA test, which confirmed what I already knew. The other was Jessica's genetic screening, the secret she was trying to hide. I put both envelopes in my desk drawer, ready for tomorrow's showdown. That night, James found me looking at old photos in our bedroom. He sat beside me, concern in his eyes. "You okay?" I showed him a picture from the hospital when Lucas was born. Jessica was there that day. She saw me give birth. How can she say he isn't mine? James put his arm around me. "She's been jealous of you from the start. I think she's scared of losing her place in Emma's life." But I never tried to replace anyone. I said, "I just love them both." "I know," he whispered. "That's what scares her." Friday morning was bright and clear. I set up coffee and pastries in the living room, arranging everything carefully. James took the kids to school, giving me time to prepare. At exactly 10 o'clock, Jessica showed up, perfectly dressed and ready for the fight. "Come in," I said calmly. "Coffee?" She looked at me suspiciously but followed me inside. "Let's get this over with. Where are the results?" I poured her a cup of coffee. "First, let's talk about why you're doing this." "Doing what?" she snapped. "Telling the truth." I sat across from her, studying her face. "No, trying to break my bond with my children." "Is it because you're afraid of your own secret getting out?" Her cup rattled against the saucer. "I don't know what you mean." "Don't you?" I took out both envelopes. One is my DNA test, proving that Lucas is biologically mine and that I adopted Emma. The other, I paused, watching her face go pale, is your genetic screening. Her eyes widened. You had no right. "And you had no right to lie to my kids," I shot back. "Here's the deal. You're going to open my DNA results first and then apologize to my children for lying to them. And if I refuse," I tapped the second envelope, "then everyone will find out about your own genetic condition, the one you're so desperate to hide." Jessica looked at the envelopes, her hands trembling. Realizing she was trapped, she reached for the first one. The DNA results were clear. She read them twice, her face getting paler each time. "This doesn't change anything," she whispered, but even she didn't believe it. "It changes everything," I said firmly. "You have a choice. Make this right, or I'll open the other envelope." Tears filled her eyes. "I was trying to protect our family." "No, you were trying to protect yourself. But hurting my children wasn't the answer." A tear ran down her cheek. "How am I supposed to face everyone if they find out?" I softened my voice. "The same way I face challenges, with truth and love. Your genetic condition doesn't define you, but your actions do." She looked at the second envelope, fear in her eyes. "If I apologize and make things right, will you keep this private?" I reached out and took her hand. "Yes, because no matter what, you're still family." That afternoon, when Emma and Lucas came home from school, Jessica was waiting with me in the living room. Her makeup was perfect, but she looked different, softer, almost nervous. I took a deep breath. "Kids, Aunt Jessica has something to say." Emma held her backpack tight, half hiding behind me, while Lucas stood tall, his little chin up. My brave kids, already so protective of our family. Jessica got down on her knees so she was at their level. "I need to say sorry," she said, her voice shaky. "What I said about your mommy, it was wrong." "You made Emma cry," Lucas said, his hand gripping mine. "I know," Jessica whispered, her eyes sad. "I was wrong to say those things. Your mommy is your real mommy in every way that matters. She loves you more than anything, and I never should have made you doubt that." Emma peeked out from behind me. "Then why did you say those mean things?" Jessica looked at me, then back at the kids. Sometimes grown-ups say hurtful things when they're sad or scared. But that doesn't make it right. I love you both, and I'm so sorry for hurting you. The kids looked at her, their faces serious as they thought about her words. Then Emma stepped closer and gently patted Jessica's hand. Mommy says we should forgive people when they say sorry and mean it. Tears filled Jessica's eyes. Your mommy is very wise. That night, after the kids were in bed, Jessica stayed behind. She stood by her car, her shoulders tense. Thank you, she said softly, for keeping my secret and giving me a chance to make this right. I nodded. We all have struggles, but we don't have to face them alone. She hesitated. Would you come with me to my next doctor's appointment? I've been scared to go by myself. I surprised us both by hugging her. Of course. That's what family does. Over the next few months, things changed. Jessica's test results had shown a genetic condition that terrified her. Her actions had come from fear and wanting to control something when everything else felt out of control. I went with her to appointments and helped her research treatments. As she faced her fears, she started to change. She was less sharp, less competitive. She joined us more often for family dinners, and this time she was present in a real way, not trying to come between me and the kids. One Sunday afternoon, I found her helping Emma with an art project. They were surrounded by glitter and paper, laughing together. Look, Mommy, Emma said, showing me a colorful family tree. She had included everyone. Me, James, Lucas, both sets of grandparents, and Jessica. Family wasn't just about blood. It was about love and choice. It's beautiful, sweetheart, I said, meeting Jessica's eyes. She smiled, a genuine, warm smile. Emma wanted to understand what family means, Jessica explained. And I think I needed that lesson too. Later, as we watched the kids play outside, Jessica admitted, I used to be jealous of you. It seemed so easy for you to fit into this family, to be their mom. I thought that if I could prove you didn't belong, it would make me feel more secure. And now? I asked. She watched Lucas showing off his superhero moves, his face glowing with pride. Now I see that love isn't something you have to compete for. There's enough for all of us. That night, as I tucked Emma into bed, she asked, Is Aunt Jessica okay now? She's working on it, I said, stroking her hair. Just like we all try to be better every day. I'm glad she's not sad anymore. Emma mumbled, her eyes closing. And I'm glad you're my mommy. Me too, baby, I whispered. Me too. In the end, it wasn't DNA that made us a family. It was our choice to love, to support, and to forgive each other. Jessica's journey became part of our story, not one of anger and hurt, but one of healing and growth.